sometimes, either when I'm in a position after I've sprawled out and Colby does not have my leg and I'm around his body, either like this or like this. I prefer like this if I can get this, or like this. I want to keep my grip low from my perspective here, so it's down in front for Colby. I'm not going to be grabbing up here because I want to keep his shoulders and his elbows pointed forward. Past, if this is his spine and this is 90 degrees, I want to keep his shoulders or his elbow past 90 degrees. I don't want it less than 90 degrees. I want it past 90 degrees. So I'm going to be in this position here. Okay? And I'm almost trying to scoop his elbows up with mine in here. And one thing I can do from this position, if he doesn't have my legs, is I'm going to pull in tight, and I'm going to push my hips in, so I'm going to push his head down. I'm going to do that by putting my hips under here, and you'll notice I'm going to be pushing my hips up and keeping his head, the back of his head, next to my sternum here. Now, most people in that situation are going to be battling and fighting you, but because I'm keeping his head down with my abdomen here, I'm going to be in pretty good shape. So from here, I've sprawled out, I'm in this position. Colby, kind of keep your head up a little bit, like power up a little bit. Colby's pushing his head up, he's trying to get out, I'm trying to tug him forward. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit through here like this. Notice here the direction I'm going. Notice, I'm not going to like let space here. I keep this tight, and I keep pushing my hips in, and I keep pushing my hips in. And what I'm going to do is, when I can, I'm going to transition. But I'm trying to push Colby's head like this. Kind of come around this way, Colby. Kind of come on your hip here. Like here, yeah. I'm pushing his head like this with my hip. Like this. Here, notice too, my hip is almost pointed up. It's not down here. It's going to be like this. So I'm in this position here. I'm pushing in. I'm pushing, watch my hips, this way. Now naturally, I'm clamping down here. And I'm going to keep, he's going to try to get to your hips, Colby. It's very difficult. Now if he does, I'm going to keep pushing, and then I'm going to transition. I keep the pressure on him the whole time. I don't let it go, then try to jump on top. The whole time, I'm locked up here. I'm pushing my hips in, keeping my grip tight, pushing my hips in, bending his head so his chin is into his chest, running around slow. And there'll be a point where you'll just be able to push with your hips, hip heist, and transition. This is one of those positions of great mechanical advantage because you've got his head jammed down with his chin to his chest. That's a very vulnerable position. So I'm here. Colby shot at me. I blocked him out here. I grab here. I'm trying to pull my tug to spin. He pulls back. I can't pull him forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch into this. Now watch. I'm not going to come like this. Where is Colby now? Colby's on top of me. Now notice my elbow is up. I'm in bad position here. There's a mistake people make. Where I come down, I'm going to come to here. But notice, this elbow's down. He's not here on top of me. Even though my hip is kind of underneath, you'll see I'm kind of curled over him here in this position. So I'm pushing my hips in. Turn into me, Colby. I keep pushing my head in, or pushing his head in with my hip. But not like this. Turn into me, Colby. I'm in big trouble there. I'm not lazy with this elbow, because if I'm lazy with this elbow and I'm pushing, he pops up. So I clamp down and in, pushing my hips in. Notice my hips are slightly pointed up, but I'm not back down, chest up. My upper body is kind of covering over him as best as it can. And I just inch around, continually pushing my hips into his head. Once more. I sprawl out. I'm tugging here. I'm tugging. I may try to spin behind, but his weight is back now. He's a moose in here. I'm having difficulty, so I'm going to push into this. Watch my hips. Okay, notice I keep this elbow tight. I'm pushing, and I come around, come on. Then I'm going to transition. Similarly, if your opponent has a single leg on you, head inside single, and we're down to the mat, I could be pushing away here, trying to weasel out, pull his weight forward. If he's still holding on, naturally, we've got what we went over before. But another option is I'm pushing out here. If I can grab from here, same situation. Notice, watch, this is clamped down, my hips, push, and he's uncomfortable here. Notice, my butt isn't just hanging on the mat here. My feet are down, and my butt is almost off the mat. There's like you can slide a piece of paper under here because I'm pushing his head up here. You could slide a piece of paper under my behind here. It's not, the weight isn't down on my butt. Now it is. I'm pushing my hips in here. And then when I get the opportunity, I transition with a hip heist. Colby grabs the single. I slide away. He hangs onto that single, and I'm pushing him forward. I may be trying to alternative from our other technique. Keep pushing, keep pushing. Hold on pretty tight, Colby. I lock up from here. Notice I'm going to cover his head with my hip as I scoop my hip through here. Okay, from this position here. I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to transition when I feel him very tight. And he can tell you the whole time I'm on him and I have weight on him the whole time. I don't let go. For example, I don't let go and then try it. In other words, from here, if I'm pushing here, I'm not going to let go, take the pressure off, and then have a scramble here, which I may lose. So I keep the pressure on him the whole time. If Colby attacks a single on me, and I was able to kind of push my weight in, say I wasn't even able to quite pull my leg back, but I was able to maintain my weight on this leg here into him. In this position here, and say we might be fighting, I might be pushing down, here, come down to the mat, Colby, from here. In this type of position, if I can keep my weight into him, that's favorable. Now, I may just try to push my head down and go with what we did a moment ago, but I just want to give you another option. If you notice that your partner or your opponent's elbow is not in tight here, what you need to do is grab it. Okay, now I want you to notice something here. Hold on to my leg tight, my other leg tight, just like that. Notice, if I control this arm, pick my leg up now, very difficult, particularly if my weight is forward, okay? Now if my weight is back, he can push into me. That's no good for me. But as long as I can maintain my weight on this leg by pushing and posting with this, and I can control this elbow here, I want you to notice this is trapped to my body. I want you to see what I'm doing with my hips. My butt isn't out here. Colby will tell you I don't have nearly the pressure here as I do here. Now again, I'm attacking his head with my hips. It's a somewhat different position and different circumstance though. But I'm pushing his head down here. From here, I want you to get a nice tight grip on me, Colby, here. From here. If I notice that this, again, my weight's forward, I could just push the head down, come around with what we did a moment ago. But if I notice that this is up just a little bit, I'm going to grab it. Immediately, I'm going to step here. Now watch. I'm going to arch into him, pull him in that direction, and then come down on him. I keep my weight on the forward foot. If I notice when he comes in for that single that he's a little lazy and this isn't in tight, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to trap it to my body, and I'm going to push my hips into his head as I pull his arm into my chest. So he's going to be going this way. It doesn't matter how hard he's got this now. In fact, the harder he holds on to this leg, if I trip this leg, he's got no post on this side, which is what's going to happen. Colby is in here. I notice this is loose here. I lift this up. Notice my weight stays here. And fairly quickly, I'm going to transition here and then come down. Notice when I do that, I'm not like this. From here, I step in, And my hips, I'm pushing my hips in. Pulling this up here, in this position here. Not like this. I'm stretching him out here. Basic principle, if he's got a single leg position here, he wants everything in tight. You want your arms in tight. You don't want one arm high, one arm low, particularly when you're attacking a single. And so what I'm doing is I'm separating his hands. Notice now my leg is on the inside and I need to get it to the outside. Now first, I keep my weight here and I'm going to push. I'll be able to get the space there. And then to come around. Colby comes in here, I push down, I'm lifting up, and coming up on top. Colby attacks in, I notice this is a little loose here, come out on top. So, let's say, come up to our feet, Colby. If Colby was in this position, and we were hand fighting, and I got a piece of this, what would I want to do? This goes down, and this comes up. Hold on to my leg, Colby. I'm in good shape here. I'm in good shape. He's going down from that position. And of course I want to go on top of him. But notice, I stretched his arms out. He had an arm around his leg, he had an arm around my leg, but because I have control of this other arm and I've stretched him out, he's in very poor position. So, if Colby was here, and we were fighting in this position, I see this come out here, I could come here, like we talked about earlier, or from here, if I notice this comes up here, I can just grab. Okay, I can grab in this position here. From that position. Colby pushes in, I could come here, and we'll talk about throws later in this position. We'll be going over some techniques like that. But alternatively, that was the head down position. But if I notice this comes up, I want to grab it. Notice my hips are in. I'm crowding him. Okay? And I'm going to foot sweep there. I block, good hip pressure in, control that arm, and twist. Again, he's got no post, in this instance, on his right side because he's got my leg. And I've trapped his right ankle.